Happy Sunday afternoon. It is time for some New York Mets baseball. This might actually be the final spring training game that we are going to cover here today. We shall see on that. We are testing out our new and improved Wi-Fi today. So I'm very excited about that. I had the internet guy come and he checked over all of the issues, and we had a burnt out cord in the wall. So probably not the safest thing in the world. And anyway, they got it fixed, and so far the internet has been great. And so hopefully that will continue, but we won't know here until we have everything going. I'm also working on one other variation in my setup. Um, so I think everything is going to lead to slightly faster coverage. I think I should be eventually 1 to 2 seconds faster. I just don't have these headphones paired with this computer yet, and I'm going to keep working on that while we are streaming today. And I saw what it says you're supposed to have to do, but that hasn't. I haven't been able to figure that out yet. So we are getting ready for first pitch. We've got lots of little updates, no major updates, just as to certain players who are either making the roster. We're still waiting to hear final decisions on a couple of players, but basically the roster is set. Griffin Canning is pitching, and here we go. The first pitch is a strike round right down the middle. Javier Sanoja is batting for the Marlins here in this game. Canning's working quickly, and that's strike two right down the middle. So that's what you want to see. You just want to see him hit that strike zone and get everything rocking and rolling. So, yeah, I haven't looked at the full Mets schedule this week, but this is very possibly the last New York Mets spring training game that we're going to cover. We will cover the first couple of innings on Thursday for opening day, but then my son has a baseball game, and like I said, as much as I love the Mets, I love my son more. So his games are always going to take precedence over the Mets. But yeah, so we've got that eye. That pitch is low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes here today. So I hope everybody is doing well. That ball is bounced out of play. So I believe the ideal viewing experience for you guys is going to be on the horizontal, but I know that won't work for everybody. And so let me just fix one thing here really quick. Appreciate everybody hanging out. It is nothing. Top of the first inning. You haven't missed any action yet. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That pitch is low and outside. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Griffin Canning is pitching for the Mets today. So he is slated to be the number 3 starter for the Mets coming out of opening day here. So, and there's a called third strike, and we've got 1 out here in the top of the first inning. So Clay Holmes is opening day starter. Tyler McGill has been listed as second game starter, and Griffin Canning is slated to be third game starter, which again is why you've had Holmes, McGill, and Canning pitching in 3 straight games. So they're just trying to get everybody lined up. So this is everybody's final starts of the spring. Mets have a couple of their minor leaguers or new minor leaguers, guys who are just sent down officially to camp. They're slated to be pitching here later today, including Jose Urena. Annika, how's it going? Hope you are doing well today. So it is no balls and 1 strike. 1 out on the top of the first. Luis Torrens got kind of a ball hit back up against him here. So we've got a little delay for injured catcher. So, yeah, we're just here talking New York Mets baseball today. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. So, yeah, we're just in a catcher injury delay. It doesn't look to be serious, but kind of like we'll see. Is he going to stay in the game? I didn't even see exactly where. Oh yeah, I see what it was. It was a cup shot on Luis Torrens, so they're just giving him time to recover here. All right, one ball and one strike. He does not swing at that pitch, so it's going to be two balls and one strike here. Myers is the batter for the Marlins. Dane Myers. Kyle Stowers is on deck. Got a high chopper to short. Lindor fields it, throws over to first. So there's going to be two outs here in the top of the first inning. How's it going, Ash? Appreciate you being here today. We're covering some New York Mets baseball. This might be our last spring training game that we are going to cover in full this spring. We'll see how the rest of the week goes, but I'm going to try to be able to be live for a little bit of Thursday and maybe Friday's games. All right, that ball is fouled back out of play. No balls and one strike. Kyle Stowers is the batter for the Marlins. That ball is a little bit low. One ball and one strike. So we are rocking and rolling with you. So excited to have you here with us today. That ball is a strike. Catches the outside corner. One ball and two strikes. Griffin Canning is pitching awesome for the Mets here today, getting exactly what you would want to see out of him. All right, two balls and two strikes now. So Griffin Canning pitching for the Mets. He will be game 3 starter for the Mets against the Astros. And a swing and a miss. Strikes him out. That will retire the side. A nice 1-2-3 inning. Easy piece of cake for Griffin Canning. Definitely gives you plenty of confidence going into the season, seeing a nice first inning here. Top of the first. So the Mets are coming up. Let me get you guys the whole New York Mets lineup here in just a second. Johnny Appleseed, how's it going? I mean, so far, so good. Holmes has been absolutely on fire this spring. Of course, you got to see what's going to happen in the real games, but I am pleasantly surprised. I was pretty skeptical. Not that I don't think relievers can convert to starters, but I just don't expect it to be kind of a natural transition. But so far, so good. I mean, there's a reason why he earned the opening day starter position for sure. So we'll see if Holmes can pull it off in the regular season, but Soto's been as advertised too. Again, like it's really hard to judge too much off of spring, because you're facing all these different minor league pitchers and minor league hitters and stuff like that. But no, I'm happy. Obviously the injury bug has bit the Mets so far this spring, but the way that the team is constructed with a fair amount of depth, I'm not super scared. Obviously, I don't want any more injuries. Never want to see injuries, but the way that the team was kind of stacked about level on level. And so, yeah, obviously the Mets went all in on Soto. And yeah, I know that. I understand that. So my biggest concern, I've been told by other Mets fans, don't worry about it. My biggest concern with Holmes is his arm still going to be there come August and September when we really need him? But we need him at the beginning of the season too. The other benefit that the Mets have is with these injuries, because we have 5 starting pitchers, plus Montas and Manaea both potentially coming back, plus Brandon Sproat potentially ready in the next 2 or 3 months. I could always see there being a scenario where the Mets could move Holmes to long relief later in the season if he just ran out of pitches, if his arm just kind of wasn't able to hold on anymore. All right, so Francisco Lindor is leading off for the Mets here in the Bottom of the first inning. He rips this ball down the right field line. It's going to be fielded there, but it'd be a nice leadoff single for Francisco Lindor. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think probably among Mets fans, the biggest concerns right now, Edwin Diaz is a concern. His velocity is down. Also, though, he has pitched less than a lot of our other relievers. So there is reason to believe that he's not necessarily been pitching his full velocity on purpose. And just kind of, he's still ramping up. I mean, he didn't even have his first spring training game until about 2 weeks ago. Starling Marte, start Mart. The start Mart is at the plate here, gets ahead 1-0. So I think there's some concerns there. And obviously, if the Mets have any other injuries, then the Mets are going to be in trouble. You know, we have definitely used our depth so far today, or so far this spring. So we definitely need to stay healthy from this point forward. And we don't have a lot of major league ready talent yet in the minors, other than maybe Sproat. Sproat might be the one person. So I got to research that, Johnny Appleseed, as to what we can do. Yeah, so I've been looking, and that's why we decided to start the spring, to at least get word out that we're going to be doing this. I can't do every single game yet because, you know, this channel doesn't produce any income or anything yet. But I'm going to squeeze in as many games as I can throughout the season. So, yeah, we're trying to do that. Even, and Lindor just, that was a weird play. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Yeah, Lindor got too big of a lead and got back picked off of first. That was a good throw by the catcher. I don't know what Lindor was trying to do there. Lindor actually almost got back despite that. That was not a good play. Get that out before the regular season starts. World Series prediction. So I'm working on it. So I'm kind of piecing everything together. So I'm going to put out I'm going to put out underdog predictions for all the end of the year awards. I'm still Marte flies this one. It is high. It is deep. It is gone. A home run for Starling Marte. The Mets are going to take a nice 1-0 lead. It should have been 2-0 had Lindor not gotten picked off there. But nonetheless, that's really good because, you know, I don't know how many fans are like me. I'm not a huge fan of Starling Marte. I wish we had someone a little bit younger and more athletic. But as long as he can hit every once in a while, we'll roll with it. He's been with this team through some highs and lows over the last few years, so I would love to see him really get to experience something good with the Mets. So very nice. All right, 1-0 Mets. Pete Alonso is now at the plate. So I'm gonna put out my predictions, but I'm also gonna put out underdog predictions, like under the radar, not guys that I think are gonna win, but under the radar guys I think who could get top 3 votes that people aren't talking about. So I'm gonna put that video out soon, and then I'll do all my prediction videos this week. So yeah, I wanted Pete to be here this year for sure. I feel like Pete's built so much into this team as well. It's like I want him to at least have the 1 year with Soto. And I mean, I was pretty certain Pete wanted to be here. And but at the same time, the Mets didn't want to they had offered Pete the big deal a couple years back and he turned it down. And I think the Mets were looking now and saying, look, realistically, we can go after Pete next offseason, or Vlad Guerrero Jr., or Ryan Clifford, who we have coming up through the minors. You know, and so the Mets are like, we don't want to get locked in to a huge contract for the type of position that tends to not age well. You know, because Pete's position as a bigger first baseman kind of ages into just like that DH role eventually. And then you just don't want to be paying that much for a DH who can't really provide too much on here. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pete Alonso. I agree. Yeah. What I liked about Soto is a couple things. One, the rising tide lifts all ships. That's all just a little high on inside. Full count here to Pete Alonso. So that basically, when you add Soto to any lineup, like everybody gets to move down one spot in the order, right? Which means that your order, your whole lineup just gets instantly deeper. Pete pops this one up. It's going to be shallow field. Right fielder's getting under it here. Going to put that one away. It's going to be 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Mets do have a 1-0 lead here. All right, so we are gonna have. Let's see who's coming up. I don't even have Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo hitting in the cleanup hole today. Yeah, so Brandon Nimmo rockets this one. And that one's going to be off the wall. An easy stand-up double for Brandon Nimmo here. Easy stand-up. I thought it was going to get out. Apparently, just missed it. It looked good. It looked like it was going to be a homer. So I'm kind of an old school traditional fan. I actually put a video out on this talking to that. I'm creating a series, Old Fan Yells at Cloud, and about the things about modern baseball that I do and I don't like. And honestly, it kind of surprised me how much I did like the ABS challenge system. In person, so I saw one spring training game in person. It wasn't a Mets game. It was Twins. It was a Twins game, Twins and Rays. In game, I was like, wow, it ended up being a lot of challenges that particular game. It was like 6 or 7. But just the viewing experience, I don't feel like it's that big of a deterrent. I feel like it keeps the human element in, but it allows the most obvious calls to get fixed. And honestly, I think in the long term, it's going to help the umpires because they're going to realize, wow, consistently, that's the pitch that I get wrong because consistently I'm getting challenged on that pitch. And I think umpires are going to adjust. I think their strike zones are going to get better. Mark Vientos is up for the Mets here. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So good afternoon to all of you. We are MetropoliFins. We're YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. So, I mean, I'm old school in the sense I don't like the designated hitter. I think analytics is overused in the modern game. You know, I like the old being able to crush the catcher at home plate. Like that's the style of baseball that I'm used to and I tend to like. But I tend to be okay with things that help. Like the instant replay wasn't that big of a deal for me either. Yeah, I wish pitchers would bat. And honestly, I wish there would be more emphasis on it all the way up through. So like I coach Little League. My son's Little League right now. He's like the AAA level, which is like 8 to 10, 8 to 11-year-olds. Okay, so that's and everybody, in fact, usually your pitchers are your best hitters at this age. You know, it's like your best players are usually your pitcher, your catcher, your shortstop, second baseman, maybe your first baseman. You know, he's usually kind of your power hitter on your team. And then we're to the level now where center fielder is pretty good too. So like basically the middle of the infield, like straight up the middle, right? Catcher, pitcher, second short, and center field. And all those guys can pretty much hit, and almost all those guys can pretty much pitch. Vientos is going to wave at that one to strike out here to end the first inning. But the Mets do score one on the Starling Marte home run. So we move to the top of the second inning. Mets have a 1-0 lead. Griffin Canning will be pitching again for the Mets this inning. So it's, you know, so this is my compromise because I know we're never getting rid of the designated hitter. So my proposed compromise, I've seen it other places, not my original idea. But my proposed compromise is when you pull your starting pitcher out, you lose your designated hitter. In other words, he's designated only for the pitcher. We already added in the Ohtani rule that you can pull the pitcher out, and if your pitcher is the designated hitter, he can stay in, which that I'd be fine with that, right? Like, but it's whatever. Ohtani's going to get special rules because he brings eyeballs, and eyeballs bring money to the game, so that's what it's going to be. But I think that would be a nice compromise. It brings the strategy back in of double switches, of really not being able to just blow through relievers quite as fast. And it would encourage starting pitchers to stay in there longer because you've got your starting pitcher in, like, and let's say you're the Dodgers, right? Otani's your designated hitter. It's the seventh inning, and your pitcher is due up. I mean, you want to take your pitcher out, but Otani's due up in the bottom of the seventh inning. Maybe you push a little bit longer, and you maybe can start stretching out these pitchers a little bit longer, and maybe put a little less emphasis on pure velocity and doing that. So yeah, Mendoza. I so full disclosure, I was a big fan of us trying to get Craig Counsell, who ended up with the Cubs. I was on that, and I've kind of come to realize that we got the better Brewers piece in David Stearns. David Stearns was the magic behind the Brewers, not Craig Counsell. And I was wrong on that because I saw how Counsell was just managing in that Dodgers series. And so I'm like, I'm very happy that we ended up with David Stearns and not Craig Counsell. Oh, Torrens just got hit again. Not quite the cup shot as the last one, but underneath his like left thigh, Torrens is just getting destroyed back behind the plate there. So yeah, no, I mean, so I like the combo that we have. We have an owner, okay, from the top down, right? We have an owner who's willing to spend money, but doesn't just want to spend it recklessly anymore. We tried that; it didn't work. We went after the Verlander, Scherzer, so he pivoted. He's not continuing to do the same thing over and over again. So that's really good. We've got a front office now who is fine going after the big star like Soto, but also building lots of levels of depth. I mean, we came in to camp with 8 potential starting pitcher options, and we're going to settle on 5 or 6. I don't know what the final number is going to be here till I don't think they've announced the final roster spots. So I like that. This ball is grounded to second base and thrown out quickly there. Yeah, so I like that. And then Carlos Mendoza, who's kind of bridges the a little bit of maybe the cultural gap, the language barrier a little bit because we got a lot of Hispanic players on the team. I don't know the nationalities of everybody. It's not my specialty, but we got a lot of Spanish speaking guys. Of course, you got Kodai Senga who plays Japan, so we got kind of this diverse team, and I think Mendoza kind of bridges the gap of that. He also knows how to handle New York media, which could be absolutely deadly if you didn't know how to do that. So he got to learn. So that, and then I do like, I like Winker, not so much purely as the ball player Winker, but I like the attitude that he brings to the team. This team has always lacked that little bit of toughness. I mean, I remember it was like 3-4 seasons ago, the Mets just got hit by pitches nonstop, and it just felt like nobody was willing to do anything about it, and it got really frustrating. And so, yeah, Winker kind of brought that little attitude, that little jump start. And again, I don't love showboating. I don't love it, but you still need to have 1 or 2 players on your team that kind of have that edge. Someone who's going to go out there and really just kind of be the tough guy when you need to, right? Like every hockey team needs that guy who's going to pick the fight. I think every baseball team kind of needs that guy who's going to stand up for his teammates. And that you probably need 2. You need 1 hitter and 1 pitcher. And Canning's going to walk Mervis here on 4 straight pitches. That last one was pretty close, but they're not going to challenge that. And I've seen a couple of times in spring training where pitchers have not challenged calls. There's probably a ball, but even so, a lot of times these pitchers want to have runners on base so they can work on pickoff moves, so they can work on holding runners on, or just work on their mindset in a lower pressure environment. So that's the first base runner for the Marlins today with that 1-out walk. This ball is chopped. And Pete makes a good little diving save there at first base to catch the ball and keep his foot in the bag. That was Not a great throw by Griffin Canning on that, but it was kind of a sidearm throw. Yeah, Pete did a really good job there. So, Savage Batman, how's it going? Yeah, no, I agree. Steve Cohen is a beast, and what I like most about him though is that he didn't just keep doubling down with, "Hey, let's just go for the most expensive pitchers of the market." These two didn't work. Let's do it. Like they actually made a true pivot and a true change, and I think this ball is going to be looped into center field. And that is going to score a run for the Marlins because in that last play, Mervis had moved up to second. He's going to score on this. So it's going to be 1-1 is going to be the score here. Thank you for the like and the share of the stream, Savage Batman. And for all of you, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We are rocking and rolling here on a Sunday. So that's going to be a run given up here by Griffin Canning. So Marlins 1, Mets 1. There's not solid contact, so it's not a super. I mean, yeah, you don't want to give up runs and stuff, but it's not like he pounded him on it. Starlin Caba played an A ball last year, so Marlins are bringing they're bringing a lot of minor leaguers here today. So we will see if Canning can get out of this inning here. The top of the second, 1 ball and 1 strike. Griffin Canning pitching. 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. This ball is ground. Oh, a nice little glove flip by Brett Beatty. Flashing the leather. That was really good awareness by Beatty there to know that the runner was fast. That's a pretty little play. For all the hate that Brett Beatty gets, he's hanging out there pretty good. Travis, let's go Mets, baby! Let's go Mets. It is 1-1. Mets scored on a Starling Marte solo home run. It should have been a 2-run homer, but Francisco Lindor got backpicked off of first. Is it really, Savage? So Savage Batman saying it's Boston's last spring training game until opening day. That's crazy. So, world champions, Raul. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm telling you, Raul, don't get down on Brett Beatty here. He just made another good play. Beatty's making this roster, and it's almost certain all the reports are Luis Angel Acuna is not. I'm going to give a couple little updates here, too. Just to share with you. If you're watching on the horizontal live, you're going to get to see a couple more things, but we're streaming on both horizontal and vertical just to increase our watch hours here. So, but Daniel Nunez, he's just not warmed up enough and ready to go to start the year in the Mets bullpen. So the Mets are going to send him down to single A. This is not a demotion. Just think of it like extended spring training is basically what it is. So he didn't debut until like last week. And so they just can't afford to bring Nunez on yet. And so they're going to just warm him up and give him a couple more weeks of just loosening his arm in spring, and that's fine. So that's one guy who is not making the camp. Or not making the team out of camp here. All right, Brett Beatty is leading off here in the bottom of the second inning. So Beatty's hit 354 this spring with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. Absolutely on fire from the start of spring. First pitch is high, but he swings at it anyways. No balls and 1 strike. There's an actual mechanics thing that Brett Beatty's been working on. If you watch, I saw this. He was releasing with his top hand. So when he would swing the bat, as the bat would come back, he was releasing with this hand. He's a lefty, but you get the picture. And this spring now, he's holding both hands all the way through, which leads to a little more power, a little more bat control, a little more muscle. So They're showing Francisco Lindor just talking with Carlos Mendoza. Does anyone think that Francisco Lindor needs to be a manager someday in like 15 years? Tom hit a 98.5-mile-an-hour fastball. Nice. All right. The future of Mets pitching is definitely like exciting. It's the first time in quite a few years that I've been really excited about who the Mets are developing down in the minors, with Sproat leading the way, but many others behind him too. Beatty fouls it off. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That's high, so it's going to be a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Brett the Met Beatty. Brett the Met Beatty here. We are Mets are up here in the bottom of the second inning. Yeah, I would have guessed so too. The Mets I know have like 2 more games left. This probably will be the last spring training game that I cover. Probably. Kodai Senga, yeah, baby. He is back. I mean, the Mets are going to be cautious with him, and Brett Beatty fouls that one off, but I'm excited. I would love to have Kodai Senga of 2 years ago back because, I mean, he was great. So I wish that the Mets could have gotten in on a couple of these other Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki too, but at least we've got Kodai. And that is high and outside. So Brett Beatty works the walk, which in the leadoff position, that's absolutely what you want to do. Get on base. Alexander Canario is up for the Mets here. It's 1-1. Mets and Marlins are tied in the bottom of the second inning. Brett Beatty is on first base. So I don't know if Canario is going to make the Mets roster or not. I don't think that's been announced yet. It is no balls and 2 strikes quickly to Alexander Canario. I mean, I guess, Savage, it makes sense for some of these teams, and Canario goes down swinging. That was not a great at-bat for Canario there. Yeah, I think he needs some more seasoning, Raul. I think that for sure. I think Canario needs a little more seasoning, but there is some hope and potential there. I'd rather see him go down to the minors and get some reps in there, and then maybe sometime mid-season we're going to need a little extra power bat, or somebody's going to go down. We need to bring him up. Luis Torrens, he's gotten beat up behind the plate today. He rips that one down to third. They're going to get the double play on that to end the inning. Both were close. Beatty almost beat it out at second. Torrens almost beat it out at first. That was a really good play. That was a really good play by the Marlins third baseman there. Nothing you can do about that. If that ball gets by, it's a run scoring double. That's awesome. Are you from Japan? I don't know how to say your name. Sorry, but are you from Japan? We had fun. We covered both of the MLB games in Japan. this past week, the Cubs and Dodgers games. We covered them live on here. It was a lot of fun. All right, we are headed to the top of the third inning here. Mets won, Marlins won. Griffin Canning is pitching for the Mets and will continue to probably pitch 80 or so pitches today, regardless of how he does. He's probably going to get 80 pitches. That's the Mets have been going between 80 to 90 pitches for some of these guys, which I'm really excited about. You know, seeing our guys being able to put up a lot of pitches. I don't think I know Tomoyuki Sagano. I don't think I know that name. I know the Nationals signed a Japanese pitcher, and did the Guardians sign a Japanese pitcher too? I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's look up Alexander Canario. Let's look him up. Let's look up Alexander Canario. I'm sure we've looked him up a couple of times, but Orioles, was that? Yeah, so let's see. Let me look that up. Tomoyuki Sagano. Okay, Sagano, yeah. You got it right, Raul. You pulled that one. Very nice. That was good stuff. Yeah, Sagano is the pitcher who signed with the Orioles. Looks like he came from the Yomiuri Giants. So yeah, that's the guy. I knew there was a pitcher. I knew it was an AL team, but I wasn't sure which one. So thank you, Raul, and appreciate you for sharing some of your favorite players here. I got a nice hard grounder or hard line drive, one hop, fielded by Vientos, thrown out to first for the first out here in the top of the third inning. All right, let's look up Alexander Canario. We're gonna, again, if you're watching on horizontal, you'll be able to see this. I can pull it up on the screen here. I'm still working on some adjustments before opening day, or if we don't get them figured out before opening day, we'll continue to keep going. So yeah, let's look at in his MLB career, he has 2 homers, one in 2023, one in 2024. Yeah, so his total minors career for Canario, he has 109 total home runs. Looks like 18 last year, 9 the year before. Yeah, and then that 37 Raul in 2022 was his best season. That ball is going to be ground up the middle. Nice play by Lindor. Throws it, makes it on the spinning play, but just a little bit late. That was a good play by Lindor. So he does beat it out on replay too. There's just where the throw ended out, there was no way. Had it been a better throw, they maybe could have gotten him, but Pete had to reach too low to get it. And but I mean, that was a great play for Lindor just to get to that throw. Okay, one of the best in Japan. Awesome. I will be watching. I'm a total bandwagon Orioles fan. So I love when young teams and young rosters can be put together. So one of the years my son's little league team was the Orioles as well. So kind of put a little extra. Watch the Orioles just a little bit extra versus other teams. I could not consider myself a true Orioles fan, but I'd be rooting for them. It is 1-1 here. The runner on first, top of the third, one out. Griffin Canning pitching for the Mets. Myers at the plate for the Marlins. This is Dane Myers here. That ball is just a little bit high. 2-1. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. How's it going, Bubba? You got the beard too? Gotta love the beard. 2-2 here. Griffin Canning trying to put Myers away. There! Called strike 3. Is he going to challenge it? Nope. He's just going to walk away sad. Yeah, you got it? Yeah, I got the scotch in me. Got the red beard. Dane Myers didn't like that call. He thought about challenging it, but he ended up not. So, awesome. Good beards have to stick together for sure. Kyle Stowers is hitting for the Marlins here. There's 2 outs now in the top of the third inning. Mets and Marlins tied 1-1 early on. Stowers. Second pitch, swing and a miss. Nice little curveball there. 1-1. So, welcome everybody. Well, we are MetropoliFins. We're YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. We are getting revved up for opening week here. Teams start. I think most everybody starts on Thursday. Nice little pickoff move, but runner gets back in time. That ball is high and inside. 2-1. And that one's also inside as well. So it's 3-1. So Canning walked the guy last inning, ended up scoring. And but this time, it's already a runner on first. So does not want to lose him here. Let's see what he's got here. I think you got to go fastball down the middle. And he does. That's going to fill up. Yeah, 3-2. 2 outs here, top of the third inning. The runner will be running. Guess that was a change up there, not a fastball. But let's see if Canning can figure out how to get out of this inning. And he walks him. So that's going to be ball 4. So Canning's got to find another out here. He's at 46 pitches. He'll probably be pitching between 80 to 90 based on what the recent Met starters have been doing. They've all been right around that 80 to 90 mark. It's actually pretty good. Eric Wagman batting for the Marlins here. That ball is shortly grounded out, chopped to shortstop. And Lindor fields it, throws it over to first. That will retire the side. So Griffin Canning gets out of it without any further damage. We are going to the bottom of the third inning. It is Miami Marlins 1, New York Mets 1. So we are on commercial break. You are not missing anything. We're going to hunt for some other Mets updates here. All right, let's see. Let's see if we got any other New York Mets updates that we are seeing here. All right, we got one article here. Says Luis Angel Acuna appears on track for Mets opening day roster from Anthony DiComo. Well, let me share this screen really quick. Luis Angel Acuna has produced a significant body of work, suggesting a need for further development. 600 plate appearances at AAA Syracuse last season. He had a 654 OPS. He's posted a 500 OPS this spring. When Acuna debuted last September to replace Lindor, he hit safely in 7 of 10, posting a 966 OPS. Lindor was saying about Acuna, I think he plays bored in spring training. If the lights come on, then he's good. Last year in the minors, he was bored. He didn't seem amped up for it. It's rare when you see elite big leaguers or good big leaguers dominate the minor leagues. They get bored, and they eventually figure out and say, I guess I've got to do a little bit more to get called up. And then they get called up, and it wakes them up. Mets have not yet told Acuna, their seventh-ranked prospect, that he's earned an opening day roster spot. But on Saturday, team officials informed Donovan Walton he won't make the cut, eliminating the last remaining obstacle before Acuna. Barring injury, the only way Acuna won't make it is if the Mets acquire a veteran who shakes loose from another camp, someone like a Garrett Hampson. So basically, it is looking like Acuna is going to break camp with the Mets and be on the opening day roster unless the Mets actually find someone else that they're going to bring in, like a veteran that gets cut from somewhere else who becomes a free agent here, because there will be some final roster moves here. Tyron Taylor is at the plate, fouls that one back. It's going to be 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's so interesting to me how quickly these rosters, you go into spring training with one thought of how the roster is going to turn out. That's a nice, wasted a nice pitch on 2-2, fouls it back, stays alive. That's a perfect 2-strike hitting approach. Just get the bat on the ball, foul it off, spoil the good pitch, and wait for a nice mistake. And he gets a good pitch to hit here, but he gets a little bit under it, flies it out. Pretty deep center field, not quite to the track, but he will be retired on that. And we are back to the top of the lineup. And Francisco Lindor is at the plate. Lindor got on base in the first inning. And then very quickly got picked off first base. That ball looked a little low, but called a strike here. No balls and 1 strike to Francisco Lindor. Mets and Marlins are tied 1-1, the bottom of the 3rd inning with 1 out. And Lindor fouls that one off. It's quickly behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Griffin Canning is pitching for the Mets. Looks pretty good today. Couple of little control issues, but otherwise pitching well. So Lindor singled in the first. Going to lay off that pitch a little bit high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We are MetropoliFins. We are YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to be coming to you with baseball and Mets coverage all season long. And the more people we can get on board, the more streaming I'll be able to do for you guys. So appreciate the support of a small little channel here. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Francisco Lindor. And Lindor got caught looking on that one for a called third strike. He knew it. He knew it. That's a nice pitch. Marte is up, and he's going to lift this ball to left center field. He did homer in the first, but he gets under that one, and that's going to be a quick little pop out to end the 3rd inning. So it is going to be Marlins 1, Mets 1 as we head to the top of the 4th inning. So we are on commercial break. So we're on commercial break here. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let's look ahead to the Mets schedule this week and see if there's I believe the Mets play Monday and Tuesday. We can also do and we'll keep you updated on NCAA March Madness. There is a potential upset of Bruin. Number 8 UConn keeping the three-peat dreams alive for now. They are up 55 and now 56-54 on Florida. With just a couple minutes remaining, we're going to actually do this. We can follow this. If you're watching on horizontal, you can follow along with the game there as well. Let's see if I can have both up. Let's do that. There. So we got we're going to keep an eye on this UConn Florida game as well because we're sports fans here. By the way, my bracket is totally destroyed for those of you who are doing March Madness. I went New York Homer and I went with St. John's and they lost. So totally busted the bracket here. All right. Anyway, we are back at it here. Matt Mervis is batting for the Marlins. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Griffin Canning pitches, and that ball is fouled out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're going to do this next commercial break. I got to go get my Mets jersey on. Got it. I just realized that I'm not wearing it. That's a beautiful pitch for a called third strike. Very nice for Griffin Canning. 93 mile an hour fastball to strike out Mervis. It's 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. All right, Liam Hicks is up for the Marlins. First pitch is going to be just a little bit high and outside. 1 ball, no strike. To Hicks. All right. So it is 3 balls and no strikes. So this has been Canning's one little blip today. He keeps getting behind on it. Not every batter, just a couple of batters. This one's going to be a called strike. Oh, wow. That's a ball. They're not even going to challenge that. So that's a 4-pitch walk. I thought for sure that was going to be a called strike. And they didn't challenge it either. No challenges. So there's going to be a runner on first. Rob Brantley is up for the Marlins as well. First pitch strike here to Brantley. So no balls, 1 strike. 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 1 runner on for the Marlins. The game is tied up 1-1. We are MetropoliFins. We are YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel, but we're also keeping an eye on March Madness here just a little bit as well. So it's currently 61-58 UConn over number 1 seed Florida. No balls and 2 strikes here. That is just a bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That ball's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Canning, that's the Canning's 60th pitch of the day. Griffin Canning's 60th pitch of the day. That ball's fouled out of play. Full count. Count remains full here. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Canning does not want to walk another guy here. They're talking on the Mets broadcast about just the developmental delay by missing all of 2020. And I agree. It's such a big thing. So many of these guys. That ball's also chopped foul. Just foul down the first baseline. So it will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. No, I think a lot of these guys, these Beatties, Vientoses, Alvarez's, that crew, these guys who were drafted in 2018, 2019, 2020, even 2021, they missed a full year of development, whether it be a year of high school or a year of college or a year in the minors, whatever it ends up being. They missed a full year. Oh, that's a nice pitch. Gets them swinging. And that's going to be the second out of the inning. So Canning has gotten a couple of key strikeouts today at key times. All right, we now have Starling Cava up for the Marlins. First pitch is going to be a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. He's just 19 years old. That ball is going to be ripped as a single right into center field. So it's going to be 2 runners on with 2 outs here on the top of the 4th. Runners on first and second. This Kaba guy, he looks pretty good. We have a meeting at the mound here, so you're not missing anything. Just kind of trying to relax Griffin Canning a little bit. He's up to 66 pitches, so his pitch count is getting up there for sure. It's been a fair amount of walks and some long at bats. It's not been absolutely ideal. I'm going to try something here out of curiosity. Can I start another StreamYard stream at the same time? I'm just kind of curious. Can I create one? Let's see. What I'm going to see if I can do, just out of curiosity. Follow along with NCAA action. See if UConn full auto. And then we got another ball grounded down the right field line. It's going to be a double. It's going to wait, hold on. Well, that's not that. Snap throw to first to try to back pick him, and the ball goes into right field. That's what it was. So runners are going to move up to second and third here. Sorry about that. Working on another project right as they're going to send everybody back. What's going on? They sent the runners back, but nobody knows why. Ooh, a nice jumping stab line drive by Francisco Lindor to save a run. And the Mets are going to get out of this inning. And we are headed to the bottom of the fourth inning. Francisco Lindor bails out Griffin Canning there. It is 1-1. Mets over the Marlins. I'm trying something here. We're going to create this live stream. This is purely a test run. So I'm just going to see if I can run a second StreamYard that is just going to show this. Florida has taken a 64-61 lead, by the way. I turn that banner off. That doesn't change that. I'm trying to create multiple streams at the same time. I've seen other people do this, and I'm kind of curious as a way to grow the channel if maybe we do something like this. So we're going to do a test run. I'm going to mute that. Mute the mic. We're going to go live. All right. So we're trying. I just started a second stream. Will the Mets be able to win the championship? That's a great question. I hope so. I mean, I'm cheering for the Mets to win the championship for sure. Love to see a Mets World Series for the first time in forever. All right. Pete Alonso is up and he lines one into left field for a leadoff single for the Mets. It is 1-1. Sorry, I'm working on another project here. Always, he really reached out for that. He could have gone the other way, but that worked. Just flick that out into left field. I think for the Mets, it's going to come down to the pitching. Can the pitching match up against the best and top lineups that are out there? I think that's the Mets' biggest question in terms of being able to win the World Series and get there. And Brandon Nimmo shoots one into left field. And that's back-to-back base hits to lead off the fourth inning. The Mets have runners on first and second. Brandon Nimmo is 2 for 2 on the day. That ball is inside. Marky V is up. It'd be nice to get a nice big Mark Vientos. And that ball is going to be hit into left field as well. And the Mets are going to have bases loaded here. Bases loaded for the New York Mets. All right, we're trying stuff. We're going to try to figure out how to. It's really cool that YouTube allows you to do stuff like this. So let's go. I need to go into here. All right, so the Mets have bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom of the fourth inning. Sorry, I'm probably distracting myself by doing too many things at once, but I'm actually kind of just got like an idea of how to grow the channel and like trying it out in real time here. Here we go. That pitch is going to be outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Brett Beatty is at the plate with bases loaded. 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody out. Bottom of the fourth inning. That ball just catches the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. The fans want him to challenge. You can see everybody in the background on any close play tapping their heads. That ball is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Florida Gators are starting to pull away from UConn here. It's 72-64. And this game is just about over. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brett Beatty. Mets have a big chance to try to open up this game and get a lead here. Fouls that one out of play. Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. All right, here we go. 2 balls and 2 strikes once again. That is low. It's going to be a full count. Brett Beatty's working this count really well. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And then he's going to foul that one back. A great at bat by Brett Beatty here. So it's going to remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Beatty fouls it back again. Here we go. 3-2 once again. It's been a great battle, this at bat. And he fouls off another one. Just the poise that Beatty's showing this spring is just great. And here's the thing: there's no out, so you want your batter to just be able to foul off pitches, extend the at bat, work the pitcher longer. All right, here we go. Payoff pitch once again. That is high, ball 4. He's going to walk in a run. That's a great at bat by Brett Beatty, especially when you want to hit, right? Like when you want to hit and you want to make that big hit, to be patient enough and not swing at bad pitches. So that's going to be an RBI for Brett Beatty. 73-66 Gators over the UConn Huskies with like under a minute to go. I believe it's under 30 seconds to go. Yeah, it's like 11 seconds left, so it's pretty much over. Looks like Florida's going to survive, but barely. A nice comeback by the Gators to stay alive. And that is out of here! A grand slam for Alexander Canario. He gets that out over the left field wall. It is now 6-1 New York Mets. Well, we were talking about Canario's power earlier today, and he shows up when it matters most. That's also what was great about Brett Beatty's at bat, is because he didn't stress. He just got the walk. He scores, knocks in the 1 run. Everybody moves up a base and just lets the inning keep rolling. And it's a huge 5-run inning on the Alexander Canario grand slam. 74-68, Florida over UConn with 9 seconds remaining in that game. Torrens pops this one up. That'll be the first out of the inning for the Marlins and Gillespie. They didn't want him to end on a bad note, so. All right, we are going to a commercial break. The Mets are now up 6-1 on the Brett Beatty bases loaded walk, followed up by the Alexander Canario grand slam. It's a pitching change. 6-1 Mets in the bottom of the 4th inning. UConn is doing whatever they can do to possibly hang on right now. But they're basically 75-70. I mean, they've battled really well. They did not want to give up the three-peat of the championship until too late, but they're just going to run out of time here. We got 9 seconds left in this game. 75-70, Florida over UConn Huskies. We're also covering the Mets game, and we're on commercial break right now, so we'll be back with you momentarily. Time is running out. We got 6 seconds to go. It's crazy because even though this game is almost over, the Gators win percentage just went down to 97%. It's going to take an absolute miracle here by UConn, but it's crazy that they went from. Thank you so much. Let's go Mets, baby! So we got 6 seconds remaining in the game. All right, Chandler Joswiak is the new pitcher for the Marlins. First pitch is going to be a ball to Tyron Taylor. Francisco Lindor is on deck. Wow, the Huskies just cut it to within 3. They just hit back-to-back 3 free throws. It is 75-72. Absolute kudos to the UConn Huskies for battling all the way to the end. Just absolutely an impressive performance. Even though it's almost certainly going to come up short because they're just going to run out of time. The fact that they're battling all the way to the end shows nothing but character to UConn. So Florida does hit the first of 2 free throws here to go up 76-72 with only 5 seconds left. It's hard to believe that there's any realistic way for UConn to come back, but I guess you missed the shot and get fouled going for the 3. He's going to hit the second free throw as well there. We'll get back to Mets in a second, but we got to cover the end of this. So kudos to the UConn Huskies. Oh, it hits a three-pointer there to bring it 77-75. Liam McNeely absolutely clutched down the stretch. That is going to end the game, but just a hearty congratulations. Hey, Vitalik, we're mainly covering the Mets game, but I'm just trying dual streaming here. A heartfelt congratulations to the Yukon Huskies on back-to-back championships and battling hard this entire game all the way through to the end. So we're actually going to end the Yukon stream now. And but we are live over on the Mets. So thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, we're back live over here. Let me get you updated on the Mets game here. Lindor is at the plate. Mets have a runner on first in the bottom of the fourth. They've already scored 5 runs this inning on a grand slam. By Alexander Canario. So Tyron Taylor is currently on first base. Pitcher just got a warning to make sure that the batter is looking before he comes set. Lindor goes fishing there, strikes out swinging. That's going to be the second out in the bottom of the fourth inning. Mets are leading 6-1. They already have 5 runs in this inning on a bases loaded walk, followed up by Alexander Canario grand slam. One ball, one strike. This is Starling Marte. Marte has a home run earlier in the game as well here today. We're gonna pull the Yukon Florida game off the screen there as well. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Starling Marte trying to keep this inning alive. And he swings and misses as well. So good job by Joswiak or Joswiak, however you say his name, to get out of that inning. But it is 6-1 Mets. We are headed to the top of the 5th inning. Let's go, Mets, baby! That was a good inning. Yeah, we are. We ready. I'm ready for real baseball. I've hit the point where I'm kind of done with spring training baseball. It's like, don't waste any more of your home runs. Don't waste any more of your good pitches. So I'll probably cover the first inning or 2 on Thursday, but then my son has a baseball game. So unless it gets rained out or something for some reason, that's all I'll be able to do. But we're excited. We're going to have some content coming out this week. Some under-the-radar picks for season-end awards. Yeah, no, for sure. We've played them so much this spring, too. Even though I know it's not, like, real games, it's I still feel like there's going to be a lot of familiarity with it all. So one of the things that I'm going to try, and we might do this with baseball too, is we might just try live streaming some other games. I can do more than one stream at a time. Now, of course, I won't be in all those other streams, but when you're just looking to kind of stack some watch hours and stuff, it's kind of cool that YouTube allows you to be live more than once at a time, which is really kind of cool. So I want to try to take advantage of that and make it work as best as possible. So appreciate everybody being with us here today. You're not missing anything. We are on commercial break. It is 6-1 Mets. We're going to the top of the 5th inning. Griffin Canning should be back in the game once again. Hey, Vitalek, yeah, we're live over here now. I'm just testing out running more than one stream at a time. So just trying to hey, appreciate it so much. As always, yep, hit that like, hit that subscribe. So I'm going to try it again with this. There's a Duke and Baylor game that's starting. So I'm just trying. I don't even have to be in there. So we're going to do. Sounds good. There is a ground rule double here for the Miami Marlins. So they're going to get the leadoff runner on. So Canning's had to work with a lot of traffic on the bases throughout the day today. So he's up to 74 pitches. So this very well could be his final inning. Let's create that live stream. And I can do more with this too if it actually works in the long run. So yeah, we're going to try to figure out about streaming multiple sports things at the same time, even though obviously I can only be in and out of the other streams, but we're going to kind of see if this is a possibility. We're going to enter studio. We're going to take down the banner. We're going to mute that mic. We're going to share the screen. We got a challenge. Called strike, and then the Marlins are going to challenge it, and it is upheld. It is a strike. I'm impressed with actually how many calls the umps have had right that the players have had wrong. And then he swings and misses. And that's going to be the first out for the Marlins in the top of the 5th inning. Griffin Canning at 79 pitches. That's the primary thing we're looking at right now is Canning's pitch count. First pitch swinging for Kyle Stowers. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. No balls, 1 strike. Top of the 5th inning. Mets are up 6-1. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We are MetropoliFins. We're YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. Mets are up 6-1. How's it going, Stan from Westport? Oh, great Mets game today. Brett Beatty had a clutch bases loaded walk, which led to an Alexander Canario grand slam. Starling Marte also showed out with a nice solo home run. Actually, should have been a 2-run homer, but Lindor had gotten picked off at first by being a little too loose at first base. got picked off first, but it's still been a good Mets game. Griffin Kenning's had a lot of traffic on the bases, but he's held his composure, only given up 1 run. So he's battling now. He's at 82 pitches. So with 1 out in the top of the 5th, of course, there's probably some sort of pitch count that he's on. That ball is lined up the middle. That's going to score a run. Oh, no, it's not. They're going to hold him at third. Wow, I'm surprised he did not score on that. All right, well, this has kind of been Canning's MO today. Here comes Mendoza. I do believe that is going to be it. That's going to be it for Griffin Canning today. But again, not a poor performance whatsoever. Lots of traffic on the bases. But he worked through it, and as of right now, has only given up 1 run. Hey, it's all good. It is all good. I'm messing around with trying some different things out here today too. So we covered a little bit of the UConn Florida game, and UConn they were so close to knocking off Florida. So kudos to the UConn Huskies. No longer the defending champion. I guess technically they're still the defending champions, but they're not defending anymore. So back-to-back championships in the NCAA tournament, and took number 1 Florida to the brink this year. So kudos to the UConn Huskies. That's a stellar performance in this day and age of the transfer portal in basketball. Nothing but respect for the UConn program for doing that. So I'm just waiting to see, because we're going to go – I'm going to just start another Baylor at Duke should be starting momentarily. They're scheduled to start at 2:40. But I'm not seeing Gamecast yet, so what I'm going to start doing a little bit, just messing around and see if it works to bring new people in as just a sports channel, just throwing up other games and Gamecasts from other games. See if people are willing to just kind of hang out and build up some watch hours for us. Yep. Exactly. I agree 100%. This is all you need out of a number 5 starter for the Mets this year. So I agree. They did announce Canning is scheduled to pitch 3rd in the rotation. That doesn't mean he is the number 3 starter for the Mets, but he is scheduled to pitch the 3rd game. All right, it looks like they pushed back the start of the Baylor Duke game to 3:04. All right. So Connor Overton is in pitching for the Mets here now. By the way, I think I got all my internet issues fixed over the weekend. We had the Xfinity guy come out, and he looked at the cord that was in the wall, and there's like 5 different outlets, but 4 of them are bad, like they're just wired bad. And the one that was the good one that the signal was coming in through, he pulled it out, and he was showing where like it was partly like burnt. So he was able to clip that off, and that was what was causing the instability in the internet connection. So we have not popped out. I think we've had good, solid coverage the entire day. So I'm very excited that we have that ready to go for the regular season here. We better not. Could you imagine the heat that would be on Juan Soto? The Mets get off to an 0-5 start. I almost want to see it just for the entertainment value, not as a Mets fan, but just as seeing all of baseball fandom go, LOL Mets, they're 0-5 again. Soto's the worst player ever. You talk about the Mets capping starters at like 85 pitches. Like the Cubs were capping their starters off at like 68, 69 pitches in a regular season game, pitching a no-hitter. So I'm pretty happy. I'm actually kind of surprised the Mets pitchers are going this far. 80 plus pitches in the final spring training game seems amazing. This ball is going to be ripped to right. It's going to fall in. One run is going to score. Canario fields it. And there's going to be runners on first and second. So it will be 6-2 Marlins. 6-2 Marlins. And I don't think that if it were a regular season game, I'm not even sure they would have let Canning in as long as they did. But today, Canning is in there solely to get the work, and he probably had a pitch count that he had to get to. I agree. I hope we're not totally delusional, Stan. So Connor Overton's struggling a little bit here. First pitch is a ball to Matt Mervis. 1 ball, no strikes. I believe Jose Urena is also slotted to pitch in this game. That pitch is pulled foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be really like a lot better quality for you guys. I mean, it was annoying to me, but it's like when I'm trying to stream and have like consistent internet, it's the most annoying, frustrating thing in the world. So that ball is going to be lined out to first. Pete rushes but cannot tag the guy out to get the double play, but they'll still get 1 out on that play. Wagaman only got in, though, because he slid to the inside part of the bag relative to Pete. That was a good slide. Because if he had not gone, I don't know if you want to call it the outside of the bag, whatever, away from Pete. Had he not gone away from Pete, he probably would have been out. All right, so now the Mets have a path out of this inning, only giving up 1 run. Liam Hicks is at the plate. First pitch is a strike. So this is not an easy place for Connor Overton to come in. Yes, Nimmo looked good today. Brett Beatty was so patient at that at-bat where he walked with the bases loaded. They're going to do a little pick-back play, throw him back to second base. Runner gets back. Torrens has got him beat up behind the plate today with a couple of balls. So he got a nut shot, and then he also got underneath the thigh, so he's going to be hurting. I would not expect him to play tomorrow or whenever. I don't even know when our next game is. Ooh, just outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hicks. So yeah, no, I mean, I feel good about pretty much everything that I've seen. If we can get 5 innings of 2-run ball out of Griffin Canning, we should win most of his games. That ball's also low and in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And also because of the internet connection, now I'm able to stream the game directly on the computer through the hardwired connection, which means it's about 2 seconds faster. This ball's fouled out of play. So that means everything is going to be hopefully more in sync with you guys. Two balls and 2 strikes. Oh, it's a beautiful pitch in there. Very nice job, Overton. That was a really hard spot for Overton to come in. Only gave up 1 run. That runner was not his responsibility. That's a really good job there to only give up 1 run in that position. I agree. That's the thing. I guess to me the biggest unknown in baseball always is, will your pitchers show up? Hitters can slump, but some of our hitters will have a good year. Some of our hitters will have a down year. That should all roughly equal out. But it's just always nerve-wracking. What are you going to get from pitchers as you go through the season? But I mean, yeah, if you match up position to position, Everybody is basically the same, but with one more year of experience or significantly better, everywhere. I mean, you can maybe argue it's a slight downgrade at catcher just with Alvarez being out to start the season, but I don't think you count that. Pete is back at first. I think the pressure is going to be off Pete this year because he knows even if he has a down year, he's got the option for the following year. So I think it's going to be low pressure there. I know McNeil is out to start the year, but he was playing loose before he got hurt. And then Beatty is obviously looking like he's stepped up. Lindor is Lindor. Vientos is Vientos. Your outfield is basically the same, except plus Juan Soto. It's like, and Senga is back on the pitching staff. Mania is back. Peterson is back. So that's, it's just you gotta weather the injuries for a little bit. That's basically what you have going on. All right, I gotta get this updated here. Going to the bottom of the fifth inning. It is 6-2 Mets. Alonso's up off to 1-0 count. Second ball's fouled down the first baseline. So it's 1-1 strike to Pete Alonso. Mets are winning 6-2. This might be one of our final spring training Mets games that we're going to cover. I will cover at least the first inning or two of Thursday's game, but then my son has a baseball game at the same time the Mets are playing, unfortunately. That's the Mets have a 4 o'clock start. Had it been a 1 o'clock start, I would have had no conflict. But it's a 4 o'clock start, so unless they do a last-minute schedule change, I'm not going to be able to do the full Mets game live. But I'm hoping one of either Friday or Saturday we'll get to do a full game live. We're going to do as many live games as we can. The best way that you can help me do that is hit that like, hit that subscribe. All right. Pete makes the first out of the inning. Brandon Nimmo is up, and he gets ahead in the count. 1 ball and no strike. Yeah, no, Pete is definitely being aggressive up front. And I think he felt like he had to be perfect last year, and now this year he can just feel like he can just go play baseball. And all of a sudden it's like, if I strike out, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't just ruin everything. So Nimmo is 2 for 2 today. A double, a single, and a run. The count is 1-1 strike. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. Your New York Mets are up 6-2. And Nimmo rips this one. It is high. It is off the wall once again. Is he going to go for 3? He is. Brandon Nimmo is. There's the triple. Brandon Nimmo is going to go for the cycle here. I hope Pete stays with us long term, and he can. First of all, the Mets just win the World Series this year, so Pete can be a world champion with the New York Mets. I feel like he's earned that, and I hope it happens this year. I do think if the Mets do win the World Series, the Mets are more likely to give him a little bit more as a reward contract. But I am mentally planning on this being Pete Alonso's last season with us, and I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. But I also know Pete has zero pressure this season because of the double opt-out deal. If for whatever reason this season is not good enough for him to opt out this season, then he knows he can come back the following year. And maybe he doesn't, just to have a little leverage with the Mets. Vientos grounds that ball, and Nimmo is not able to score on that. That's going to be 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Yeah. Oh, I agree. What's great about it is yes, we brought in a couple of pieces, but I mean Lindor is as much a Met now as he ever was a Cleveland Indian slash Guardian. In fact, I don't even know if he ever was on the Guardians. I think he was traded while they were still Indians, or at least before he had played a game as a Guardian. I mean, but you got Beatty, you got Vientos, you have Alvarez, you've got Pete, Starling Marte. Yeah, he's been around a couple of teams. Brett Beatty is going to rip this one. Oh, that was a nice hit, but the right fielder gets there, and that is going to retire the side. But that was a good swing by Beatty there. Nothing bad about that swing. That was a good hit there. So that is going to end the inning here. So the Nimmo does hit the triple. He's a home run away from the cycle, but it will be 6-2. Mets going to the top of the sixth inning. So, if for those of you following March Madness, UConn absolutely gave Florida all they could handle, and they weren't quite able to pull it off in the end. So we followed along with that game, but kudos to the UConn Huskies men's basketball team, back-to-back champions, and no longer defending because they lost today, but a great run to the UConn Huskies. And also a great run to my bracket that absolutely got blown up because I picked St. John's to win it all. I went with a little New York homerism there, and it totally bit me as it always does, which is why I don't put money on my brackets. We are MetropoliFins, YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. So please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're excited to have you here. Getting ready for opening day just around the corner. We are going to start a separate stream here for people who want to follow along on the Baylor Duke game. So, but that start time got pushed back just a little bit. So that game was supposed to start 2:40. They pushed the start back to 3:04. I think it's going to be about time for me to get a couple more monitors set up on my desk here so I can spread out the game, because now I'm actually streaming the game live on this computer. And hopefully in the next year or so I can get myself a nice new desktop as well. So Jose Urena is now in pitching for the Mets. He did get just sent down to the minors yesterday, so he will not be breaking camp, but he's still scheduled to pitch today. Let's give you just a little update on the Mets schedule here coming up over the next couple days, just so you know. I think this is very possibly the last spring training game I'm going to be able to cover. Canario makes the put out here for 1 out in the top of the sixth inning. Starlin Caba is up. He's the shortstop for the Marlins. He's an impressive little guy. He's 19 years old, short, fast. I would say of all the players I've seen today for the Marlins, this kid, I call him a kid because he's 19. He looks impressive. So we'll see how Urena can do against that. All right. So tomorrow, the Mets play the Yankees at 1:10 p.m. I would love to cover that. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to. So Then the Mets do not play on Tuesday. And no baseball games on Wednesday. And opening day is Thursday. So the last game is going to be Mets at Yankees. The game will be on MLB TV, so you can certainly follow along if you wish. I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to cover that tomorrow. So I will let you know if I can, but it's the last week of the month. I got to go out and make my rent money for this upcoming week. All right, Kaba makes the second out of the inning. It is 6-2. Mets with 2 outs. In the top of the 6th, Carter Johnson is up. The Mets are going to challenge this ball call. And they're right, it was a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count. Almost gets him to go for it. Not quite. 2 balls and 2 strikes here. So the Mets are trying to get out of this inning. Urena is pitching really well. That ball is inside and in the dirt. Yeah, so it's interesting, Stan. I would love to see. I wonder. I mean, I get it. It's fun to get angry with umpires when we're sitting at home, but it's amazing to me what percentage of the time the players think the ump is wrong when the ump is actually right. This ball is grounded. The shortstop Lindor fields it, throws it over to first. That will retire the side here. We are going to the bottom of the 6th inning, but I would love to kind of know the stats. Savage Batman. Aaron Judge is overrated. And you posted it in both streams. I love it. Just making enemies everywhere you go, Savage Batman. Making enemies. All right. Duke versus Baylor should be tipping off here any moment. And once it does, I'm gonna run a separate stream that I'm not actually gonna be. The stream will be live. It'll be on this channel, but I'm not going to be commentating on it. Well, Angel Hernandez is out of the game, so yeah, no, I agree. And like even in the bullpen or like even in the dugout for like baseball, it's so hard. You can see high and low, but it's so hard to tell inside and outside. You know, the center fielder also has a really good view too, but they're kind of far away to see some of that. Hey, it's cool, Savage. I'm just telling you. So, Stan, the other day I asked Savage if he would still say Aaron Judge is overrated, even if he was on the Red Sox, and Savage Batman said yes. He just despises him. It's not just a Yankee thing. It's apparently he's got a personal beef with Aaron Judge. Like Baylor Duke game is I guess delayed and start again. Was it at the same Milwaukee, Cleveland, Seattle, Milwaukee? It was probably the same stadium that or arena or forum. Where are they at? The Lenovo Center. Yeah, it's probably the same place. There we go. All right. So that game is live. So we're going to start that second stream here. Let's go here. Baylor versus Duke. All right, I'm just trying to get this We're just going to try to get this up here. We're going to go live on. This is also on MetropoliFins. Top 50. Savage. Canario rips this one, and it's his second home run of the day. Alexander Canario says, hey, don't forget about me. So Canario is this interesting kid. He's got lots of power. Lots of power. And he is showing it today. It is now 7-2 New York Mets. That swing looks really good. Canario's swing is like really impressive. All right, getting my little ticker updated here. And MVP in 2026. 101 and 61. I have Ellie De La. This is a spoiler alert because I'm going to give my underdog. I've got Ellie De La Cruz as an under the radar MVP pick for this season. Oh, Tyron Taylor rips one. It is high. It is deep. It's gone. Back-to-back home runs from the bottom of the Mets lineup. 8-2 New York Mets. My goodness. This is great. When you can get this out of the bottom of your order, it's like, okay, yeah, now who do you get to face? Oh, yeah, Francisco Lindor is now due up. You got to remember, Juan Soto's not even playing today. So, yeah, so our head coach for our son's Little League team, Raul, I'll tell you what, he's looking super impressive today. I think he's got to play in the minors, though, because you got to play him every day, right? You have to get him the reps as much as you might want him, because, like, I think you got to at least start him in the minors. But, yeah, no, my son's head coach for his Little League team, they're big Reds fans and Ellie De La Cruz fans. I think the Reds make the playoffs this year. Spoiler, I'll be cheering for them. And I'm leaning closer and closer to picking a rematch. I haven't decided yet. I'll make my prediction this week, but I'm leaning towards this Orioles-Mets World Series rematch of 1969. I think it would be really beautiful. I think that would be a fun series. And Lindor's is going to go down swinging here. There's going to be 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Oh, I guess not. I guess it wasn't a strikeout. So, anyway, because I know because Lindor just ripped a double down the left field line. The Mets are absolutely crushing George Soriano. That's going to be the end of the day for Lindor here. Yeah, Red Sox Mets. And I mean, the crazy thing about this Mets team is name who they traded away. Name what prospect they traded away this offseason. The answer is nobody. And so they have all of the capital in the world that they need at the trade deadline. All these guys, because eventually there's going to be a logjam. There's not enough room for all these guys. Jose Azocar comes in the game here, and he is going to ground out. And Donovan Walton is not going to break camp with the Mets. He got notified that he's going to start the year in AAA, I believe. But he takes over for Lindor. He moves up to third base on that play. LaRusso grounds this ball to the shortstop, and he's going to be retired at first base. So that will end the inning, but not before the Mets hit back-to-back home runs to take an 8-2 lead. We are going to the top of the 7th inning. So yeah, I wanted to get back to this comment that I have on the screen here, that the pitch replay has almost always validated the umpire's original call. And you have to remember, too, even when you're watching a game on TV, you might not be watching a straight-on camera angle. It might look straight on to you, but think about it. If it was straight on, wouldn't the pitcher be blocking it? And I saw a video on this once that the angle that we see at home it can vary a lot, even from ballpark to ballpark. And even from broadcast to broadcast, if you've got like multiple different channels that are covering the same game, they might have slightly different camera angles, and it might look like a strike on one broadcast, and it might look like a ball on another broadcast. And you're not crazy; it's just the angle is all that changes. So, I think there's really nothing but upside for the ball strike challenge system. I think, one, you're going to realize these umpires are a whole lot better than you and I are sitting at home on our comfy couches. And two, I do think that some of the umpires who are going to consistently see the same pitch that they call wrong get challenged over and over again. I think it's going to impact the umpire's behavior. I think they're going to start to realize like, oh, this is the pitch that I consistently call a ball, that consistently gets challenged, that consistently gets turned into a strike. So it would be very, very interesting to see, but I feel like that's a very much a possibility here. So I think it's good for baseball. Gets the most egregious calls. Raul's going with Red Sox and Mets. That is a very good guess as well. I know a lot of people think the Red Sox are going to win. Garrett Crochet should not be underestimated. I mean, if there was one pitcher I wanted as the Mets, one starter that I wanted to genuinely get this year, it was Crochet. So they got David Stearns in the booth today. Yeah, those are sports cards behind Alan. Those are my eBay listings. Those are all my eBay listings that you can see behind me. So not a lot of high end stuff. It's a lot of low to mid grade stuff. But yeah, it's a few thousand, a few thousand. So it's a lot of volume. It's not a lot of value. Put it that way. I'm not that big of a baller. Maybe someday I'll work on getting all my dream cards. But yeah, no, I've been selling on eBay for a long time. How is it over on Whatnot? I've yet to do that, but I just feel like I don't know if low to mid end sports cards would do well. So there are, by the way, 2 outs here already in the top of the 7th inning. Jose Urena is pitching really well. He is not breaking camp with the Mets. He is going to go to the minors, but But there's already 2 outs here. What's his pitch count at? He's doing well. 17 pitches, and he's already gotten 5 outs in 1 2/3 innings. It's kind of cool to see these guys who just learned that they were going to get demoted, and then they still come out pitch and fire. All right, so I have on mute. I created another stream, which is just the game cast of Duke versus Baylor, and I'm not broadcasting like my picture or my voice or anything over there. And we got multiple people watching that game cast over there. So that ball is high and gets away. It's going to be a full count here to Brett Roberts. Okay, that's cool. I mean, it's definitely something I want to explore someday. Doing that, and I feel like, and I know you have to like have some good stuff too to kind of not necessarily give away, but do like if you just did, every Shohei Ohtani, like if you want to do lives and start like every Shohei Ohtani auction like at $1, you just do like all Shohei Ohtani $1 each, or starting at $1 each. I know that's a pretty good strategy, but of course you have to have the other cards, and Urena comes back and strikes him out. So Nimmo is due to lead off. I wonder if they'll give him a shot to hit for the cycle. We'll see. We'll see if Nimmo comes up. They did just take Lindor out of the game, but we'll see if Nimmo does it. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's amazing. You can sell just like even your base tops inserts of Shohei Ohtani. They sell all day, even on eBay. It's like it's amazing to me that like as long as it's the name and it's just going to constantly sell. Then you can just kind of focus on like the top 5 to 10 names and do really well. So I've just kind of gotten out of sourcing fresh cards. So I haven't bought much. I bought a couple of packs of 2025 tops, but I haven't bought much recently. So I gotta get going on that again. So wow. Yeah, well, so I've watched like when I first got back into it, I didn't know anything about cards like recently, because it was like the whole new world. And like I watched some of Jab's family stuff, and I saw where some of his auctions go for. I'm like, my goodness, people are overpaying. Like he was getting double the prices of eBay without the eBay fees. I'm like, that's crazy. Mags, can you explain? I think I'm brain farting on this one. What are mags? Like in my head, that means magazine, but I'm pretty sure that that's not right in this context. Oh, gotcha. The one touch. Are they still hard to find? I thought they were like pretty easy to find. So you could just put all your cards in one touches and just instantly increase the value. Got it. Got it. The mercy roll. Yeah, let's go. Brandon Nimmo is going for the. So, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the Orioles pitched a no hitter yesterday. It was a multi-team. Of course, it's spring training, so it doesn't count. So, Orioles pitched a no hitter yesterday, and now Brandon Nimmo is going for the spring training cycle today. He already has the single, the double, and the triple. He needs the home run. By the way, I'm not listening to all the details, but the Mets announcers are interviewing David Stearns in the press box right now. So if you want, I think they had him in the top of the 7. So if you're a Mets fan and you didn't get to listen to it, I would highly encourage you go back and listen to it all. I'll probably go back and listen to it all too because I'm missing parts of it. Duke is up 15-13 on Baylor early on. Yep, he's up in the booth. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, Stan. So, well, that's awesome, Alan. I wish you nothing but success on the whatnot side. So, like, I've been doing eBay in some form or another for like over 20 years. So that's like my home away from home. But maybe I'll have to dip the toe in for sure. So what I like to do, my strategy on eBay is buy bulk lots and then split them apart and sell them that way. That's kind of that's the system I like to do. You know, buy bulk lots, ideally on auction because auctions tend to go low in bulk lots. And all you have to do is like find one good card in a bulk lot. And a lot of times you can get the whole lot for less than the price of the card, especially if they do kind of a poor job listing. Yeah, prospecting is nuts. I mean, honestly, I think the best way to prospect is to actually rip. Like that's probably your best way on the prospect, especially because it's just all guesswork. It's something very unique to baseball, and I do like I like Bowman Inception. That's like a fun. If I wanted to do a prospecting case again, even though it might not have the highest returns, it's a lot of fun. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Nimmo. He is, I guarantee you, he's 100% looking for a homer here. Oh, by the way, we're the bottom of the 7th. So let's see. Can Nimmo blast this? That's going to be outside. That was close. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, no, I agree. I think even on eBay, I think having a following on eBay, you get more for your cards because there's so many untrustworthy sellers on eBay. It's easier to find deals. Nimmo rips that one foul. So it remains full count here. Nimmo is looking for the home run for the spring training cycle. And Nimmo goes down swinging. That'll probably be the end of the day for him. But awesome day for Nimmo. I kind of think if he wasn't, but he even going back to the bench, he's still sharing about like pitches and stuff like that. So no cycle for Nimmo. Matt O'Neill now batting for the Mets. Almost gets hit on the first pitch. It's going to be ball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. 8-2 Mets. Bottom of the 7th inning. I do so for sports cards. I do baseball and then a little bit of football, and then I have a smattering of other random ones. A couple basketball, a little bit of Pokemon. My kids know Pokemon better than me, so. But primarily baseball. I would say it's 70 to 80% baseball, 15% football, and then everything else last 5 to 10%, whatever that maths out as. So, and then on the channel, on the YouTube side, we're gonna we basically just go straight from football season to baseball season to football season. So we cover baseball, football from a New York Mets and Miami Dolphins fan perspective. So that's the YouTube side. And then I have a separate channel that I actually talk about like selling on eBay. So where I actually like help people get doing that. So I think there's a lot of money to be made on the football side as well. I grew up mostly with baseball, and then by the time I got back into sports cards, this whole Panini world was like, it was too much for me to take on. It's like, I'm going to just go work on trying to learn baseball again. Because that's the sport. I mean, I like them both, but I enjoy football, but I love baseball. So, do you rip at all, or at this point, are you just buying singles and lots and trying to flip them that way? This ball is ripped out to right field. Right fielder gets under, and he is going to make the catch. So there's going to be 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Brett Beatty is due up. Gotcha. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the way to do it. And I think even buying lots for your PC. So I did this even when I was back in college, way a long time ago. I was buying at the time I was like hardcore collecting Mike Piazza. So Brett Beatty does get the at bat here. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. The bottom of the seventh, 8-2 Mets over the Marlins. And so what I would do is I would find a Mike Piazza lot that would have cards that I didn't yet have for my PC. So I would buy the lot, obviously then add all the cards that I needed to my PC, and then I would compare the doubles. And if the doubles were better than the versions I had, then I would just keep doing that. And that's how I would upgrade that collection. And that's how I just kept doing it. And so you could almost get away by just upgrading your collection for free, because you buy the lot and then you sell off the extras from the lot either as a lot again or sell them off as singles, one way or the other. So that's inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brett Beatty. Yep. Soriano's battling here. He's trying. Yeah, it's what's nice about baseball and football, Savage Batman, is that they overlap. Brett Beatty works the walk here. So the Mets will get a 2-out base runner here. We'll see if Beatty stays in the game or if they pull him. Yeah, I might be a lot more inclined. I've noticed the hype around, like the Topps Chrome football is a lot bigger than what it has been previously. So it's almost like, let's just do a test run. And I mean, unless I end up with some, I don't ever intentionally buy any Panini products for baseball. When I first restarted, like the designs were cool, but just without the licensing, no interest. But yeah, Savage Batman. So yeah, it's perfect. Yep. Yeah, you're hearing what I'm hearing, Stan. I got to re-listen to this because it's hard to catch everything that he's saying. But no, I'm excited about this plan. There's no rush. Everybody's gonna be ready for when we need them. But yeah, no, I mean, so baseball season basically kicks in. Like spring training starts like a week or two after the Super Bowl, and then as baseball season winds down, is right when football season starts. So it's just kind of almost a perfect overlap. Canario is up. He already has 2 home runs today for the Mets. And so it works out really nice. It's like, boom, this ends. Boom, this begins. And right as baseball season winds down, then football season is kicking in. And we're going to have some crazy Sundays, I think. Some crazy Sundays doing Mets and Dolphins coverage here. So right now, Alan, I'm just doing a vertical and a horizontal live stream at the same time on YouTube. So I'll probably expand out to multiple platforms at some point in time, but right now so I've got a horizontal and a vertical live stream of this Mets game going on at the same time. Mainly because I'm just trying to get my watch hours up as quick as possible. And I know a lot of our regulars watch on the horizontal live stream, but you discover new people through the vertical. So that's why I'm doing both. I won't always, but until we can get our watch hours up, we're trying to find as many excuses to stream. And that ball is ripped down past the third baseman for Canario. Going to get runners on first and second here in the bottom of the seventh. We got a 2-out rally. Is it still a rally even if you're winning? Yeah, I know. Canario doesn't want to go to the minors. Have they officially announced that Canario is headed down? Ryuni. How's it going? Appreciate you being here with us. The Mets keep just piling on here, so it's been a great game. Luis Angel Acuna is at the plate. Acuna is coming into the batting order for in Luis Torrens' spot, but I wonder if that means because O'Neill came in Vientos, the new catcher came in Vientos' spot in the lineup. So it looks like Acuna's coming in to play third base. So maybe Beatty's going to stay in at second base the rest of the way. We shall see. I mean, they haven't taken Beatty out of the game. He's on second base as we speak. 2 balls and 1 strike to Luis Angel Acuna. And he rips this one, and that's going to fall in. That's going to be a 2-out RBI as Brett Beatty is going to score. It's going to be 9-2 New York Mets. Just no stopping this team. Nobody wants to go down. Everybody wants to stay in the majors. We can't keep all of you on the roster. What a great display. What a great display for the Mets today. I know it's spring training, but we are now to the point. It's their next to the last spring training game. They've got one more game tomorrow. Mets Yankees tomorrow, and that's it. That's the end. There's 2 spring training games left. So this is the real deal. Well, that's going to be enough to knock George Soriano out. It's also going to knock David Stearns out of the booth with Howie. So it is a pitching change for the Marlins. So we're on commercial break. You are not missing anything. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to have someone who's smart in that position, and also you can just tell he's a Mets fan. Like, he's playing MLB The Show, but not as a video game. Like, he's playing it for real. And he is well trusted to make good decisions, not get us into bad financial predicaments from this point forward, even though we can bail ourselves out. You know, like, just because we can bail ourselves out doesn't mean like, hey, just go spend all our money. That's not how it works. Baylor's up 24-23 on Duke. I can share that here really quick. For those of you who care. For those of you whose brackets aren't dead, like my bracket is already dead. (24-23) Duke. This is basically a home game for Duke. Yep. It's like from the top down. It's just the whole organization is just, it's organized in such a good way. You've got Cohen to Stearns to Mendoza, and then to Nimmo, Soto, Lindor. Tyron Taylor is up again. It feels like he's just been up all game. It's his 4th plate appearance of the game. He has a home run today, part of the Mets' back-to-back homers last inning. No balls and 1 strike. Runners on first and second. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Your New York Mets are winning 9-2. Yep. No, Jeremy Hefner. I mean, it's just everything. The pitching lab, the hitting lab. This ball is going to be grounded up the middle, and that's going to score another run. It is 10-2. That's double digits. Hopefully this won't break the scroll bar at the bottom of the screen. It is 10-2 New York Mets. Donovan Walton is now batting for the Mets. Walton is in the leadoff spot now, taking over for Francisco Lindor. This is his first at-bat of the game. Jose Azocar is on deck. As a swing and a miss to Donovan Walton here. All right, here we go. Let's see what Walton's got here. No balls and 2 strikes. Oh, it's absolutely frozen. He is going to challenge it. Hold on. I think that was a strike, though. I'm pretty sure that was a strike. Yep. Top end of the zone. It was a strike. It looked like a strike. Too close to be going. Anyway, that's going to end the inning. It is 10-2 Mets. We are headed to the top of the 8th inning. Yep. Oh, it's when you deal with little league kids, they always are like, oh, I was so far. Like, dude, you got to swing at that. It's too close. Got to protect. Just take the decision out of. I can guarantee you, if they had the ball strike challenge system in Little League Baseball, pretty much every team would blow through it by the end of the first inning. 24-24 Baylor at Duke right now as we speak. So we're going to the top of the 8th inning. There's very little suspense in this game. We didn't need Rally Pig. Jose Urena is gonna win the Rock Solid Reliever Award. It's my pet rock. Oh, it kind of messes up because of the green screen. It's my pet rock from kindergarten. So the Rock Solid Reliever Award is going to Jose Urena. They're saying he might actually come out and pitch here in the top of the 8th. He's already had a great performance. Oh, totally forgot about 7th inning stretch. So I'm doing the 8th, bottom of the 7th inning stretch. So just a reminder, once we get to regular season, we'll be rating other streamers. Probably, I feel like the 7th inning stretch is not long enough. It just takes. We need more time, so we might just start it at the top of the 7th inning. Seems like it's the right time. Gives us time to get to a couple, or top or the bottom of the 7th, depending on when the Mets would be hitting. All right. Hennessy's Cabrera is actually coming in for Urena, but a great relief performance for Urena. Cabrera and Urena both were told yesterday they're going to the minors. They're not going to break camp up north with the team. Urena had no issues, came back and pitched great today. Let's see if Cabrera can do the same thing. You've got it. This baseball is a tough game. This pitch is hit out to left field. And the play is made. And that will be one quick out in the top of the 8th inning for your New York Mets, up 10-2. Lots of home runs today. Grand slam, back-to-back home runs. Brandon Nimmo missed a cycle by a home run. Yeah, the single, the double, and the triple. So Bennett Hostetler. Bennett, nope, that's not even who's up. Brock Vandenberg is up. I misread. Hennessy's Cabrera is pitching for the Mets, trying to get 3 quick outs. Send us to the bottom of the 8th. That'll be Mets' last ups unless there's some sort of tragic catastrophe that leads to the Mets giving up this lead. I certainly hope not. I don't want to be still talking about this game in an hour. Should have made myself a coffee. That was a very late timeout call that was granted. I'm not sure what that call was. I don't know if they called it a strike or what that was. That was weird. I think the count is 2-1 but I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure. All right, we got Facebook Marketplace going. Acuna, Marte, Sanger, and Taylor. Yeah, I heard that Jackson Reitz got sent down. I was very bummed. I think Sanger is. I think that's what it is. I think Acuna is going to be in the regular starting rotation as well. I think you're just going to have, once a week you're going to give Pete a day off. Once a week you're going to let, you're going to have Vientos take a day off. So there's going to be plenty of days, especially with McNeil out. There's going to be plenty of days where you just have enough pieces to keep everybody in the lineup. So I think you're probably right. That sounds about right to me, Jonathan. By the way, good afternoon to you as well. Hope you are doing well today. Hope you're doing as well as the Mets are today. The 10-2 lead here. Got a runner on first. No balls and 2 strikes. Top of the 8th inning with 1 out. Genesis Cabrera is pitching. He just found out he's going to the minors yesterday. As did Jose Urena. Urena came in and pitched 2 shutout innings here in relief. Here comes a little chopper to second. I'm going to just take the easy out at first. So there's going to be 2 outs with a runner at second base. Very good play by Beatty there to not try to get the lead runner. It was hit way too soft. Hit way too soft to try to get the lead runner. All right, we got 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. This first pitch is rocketed out to left field. Just foul. Barely foul. Wow, that was close. All right, what do we got here? What do we got? No balls, 1 strike. Bennett Hostetler. He's up with a no ball, 1 strike count. This ball is also ripped. He is right on this guy. It's like he knows what Cabrera is going to be pitching him here. He's like pulling. He's super early. So what do you need to do? Ryan Prado, how's it going to you? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing as well as the Mets. It is 10-2 Mets. This ball is flied out pretty deep in center field. Tyron Taylor still in there, though. Makes the catch, and the Mets get out of the inning. 1 runner on, but the Marlins do not get him home. It is 10-2 Mets headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. So what a great game for the Mets so far. Again, to all of you who are watching vertical and horizontal, appreciate you being here. We are MetropoliFins, YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel. So this is probably the last spring training game. There's a chance I'll cover tomorrow, but it's probably not going to happen. I've got my son's got a baseball game tomorrow and Thursday. So unfortunately, it means I'm going to miss the last spring training game and the first regular season game. But my son's baseball team trumps the Mets. So, all right, we are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. This will be the Mets' final at bat. barring some catastrophe in the top of the ninth. Oop, that's wrong. It's the bottom of the eighth, not the bottom of the seventh. Oh, stop. Bottom of the eighth. There we go. So I appreciate you guys. So right now, so my son is a lefty. So his primary position is center field. He's basically the fastest kid on the team. So he's the leadoff hitter. He's the center fielder. His on-base percentage is like .858 right now. Hold on, let me actually pull it up. I have it because I'm also the scorekeeper. Let me tell you what his on-base percentage is. It's nuts. All right, sorry, 828. 828. He's got 7 hits and 12 at-bats, and then 15 walks and 2 hit by pitches. I know. So it's down a little bit because he lined out his final at-bat of the last game. So, yeah, he's got 5 singles, a double, and a triple on the season, and it was like a legit triple. Not doing that, but he's a little small for first, but they're slowly training him in at first base, so he's taking first base reps at practice now. But so my son is 9. We have a first baseman on our team who's 11, and he's like a big kid. He's our power hitter. So let's see, what is his actual batting average on that? That's a 583. 583. 7 for 12. Yeah, 583. So almost 667. Jose Azocar goes down swinging here for the Mets. But he's getting some reps at first base in practice because he's a lefty, and then he's also getting reps pitching. So yeah, I'm excited for him. I mean, his baseball career is already better than mine was, and I played through about, I don't know exactly, 10 or 11 years old. I think I played until majors. I never played majors ball, so I played through like AAA or whatever they called it back in the day. So. But yeah, I mean, he's good. He's still got to work on his power, but he's in the back row now. When they take pictures, he's in the back row, so he's not like the smallest kid on the team. But no, he's got some good potential. We've been really fortunate to get paired with some really good coaches. I played for Northeastern. Awesome. Yeah, that injury bummer. I know that's how it goes, and it's like there's such a lottery. Well, congrats still on a great baseball career, though. So sorry about that injury. But what positions did you play, Ryan? Can I look you up? Can I find you on? You still have stats up on Northeastern? That ball is hooked foul. This is LaRusso. Let me see if I can find you. I'm not seeing it. Yeah. Somewhere, somewhere out there, someone's got a database of your old stats saved. That ball is a fly out to center field here. So it is 10-2 Mets. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us here today. Jonathan, you played third base and catcher. All right. Yeah, so I played catcher. And I was a catcher quite a few years. So never a great catcher, obviously. Your mom's got it somewhere, right? Yeah. I was never a great catcher, but I always enjoyed it. And so some of my favorite players growing up with Benito Santiago, Mike Piazza. Those were my boys. And then I got to meet Nelson Santovenia. He was a catcher for the Montreal Expos back in the day. Got to meet him. So I always just, I had a catcher's glove for a long time. I don't have that anymore, but yeah. Hey, So that's the thing with my son that I'm teaching him. Like, look, right now, don't even worry about the speed. Us bouncer to shortstop, and it's gonna draw the first baseman off the back. So that's probably going to be an infield hit. That's a tough play, but yeah, just tell him like just be accurate, just pitch strikes. I had one coach who worked with me on pitching a little bit, and but never got traction. It's really hard. That's one of the first times I've ever seen a player duck on their way into first where it actually worked. So yeah, it's hard to break into pitching because like kids, a lot of times the coaches' kids get picked as pitchers, and then the biggest kids get picked as pitchers, and then doing that. Sounds good. I will take note on that. Yeah, like right now, we haven't even worked on grips. I just tell them grip the ball the same way every time that feels comfortable in your hand. That's it. And I just say, look, I don't even care about your velocity. Let him hit it. Like I just want you to just like toss the ball in there, throw strikes. And so that's why he might. They said there's a chance he's going to pitch tomorrow in the game. So doing that. Seth, your Sooners softball team beat Missouri on the road. There you go. Go Sooners. They're having a good season, right? Yeah, Jonathan, third base and catcher. Yeah, I always wanted to play first. First was like where I wanted to play catcher and first, but I hit all my growth spurts too late, and I gave up on baseball. I wish I hadn't, but I did. I gave up on baseball. So, and there's a called third strike for the Mets. That's going to end the eighth inning. It is 10-2 Mets over the Marlins. Yeah, he's pitched. He probably has like 3 innings of Little League under his belt as a pitcher. Gotcha. Awesome. So, but we're getting to the level too now. Center field is not boring all the time. Like there's actual plays in center field. He does lose focus out there sometimes, but he's getting a lot better. And I mean, I would say there's 2 or 3 balls a game that get out to center field like hits now, and especially as we get into the second half of the season. So he made his local all-star team last summer. Yeah, no, for sure, and hitting against some of these kids too. I mean, he's pretty fearless up there, and then he's a speedster. So I'll give you his stolen base total because that's insane. Like he dominates his whole team in stolen bases. He has second on the team has 24 stolen bases. He has 37 stolen bases. That's in 10 games. So he's averaging 3.7 steals per game. It's like if he gets on first, you might as well it's like a triple. Like if for him a walk is a triple. A single is a triple. Double is a triple. It's always a triple. So and I mean there's no leading at our level yet either. So it's like some of it's off of pass balls, but he also can straight steal off them almost all of these catchers. All right, we are headed to the top of the 9th inning. Currently, Duke is beating Baylor 35-27. It's when it crosses home plate at our level. So, a good chunk of those steals are wild pitch pass balls, but I talked to like at this point the coach just wants to know how effective they are moving base to base, so steals is the easiest way to track that in the stats. And so I think once he moves up to majors, he's thinking about trying out for majors next year because he'll be 10, and that like majors is like Little League World Series, like what you see on ESPN, like that's that level. Majors 10, what is it, 10-13 or something like that. And he's always played up. So he was playing 8-10 at 7. Yeah, I know. They call him the Ellie De La Cruz because we're in modern times, so not everybody knows Ricky Henderson, but the kids all know Ellie De La Cruz. So there's like he's the Ellie De La Cruz of the team. Jonathan, what level did you play baseball up to? Because I played it till like 10 or 11, and that was about it. We won the local championship one year. This is Chris Davinsky pitching for the Mets. The first batter is going to be retired and ground out to second base. Davinsky is the third of 3 Mets relief pitchers who was notified that they were going to be sent down to the minors yesterday, who are still pitching today. So these are probably their last performances of the spring for these guys, and they'll all probably be reassigned. Mets players will be flying all across the country. Of course, you got the major league team is headed to Houston, and I don't know where the minor league teams are starting their season, but some get to stay at Port St. Lucie. Some go to Binghamton, New York. Some go to Syracuse. Yeah, no, I wish I had stayed with baseball longer. Even if I could have never, caught on at the higher levels, I wish I would have played through 13 or something like that. That's definitely one of my big regrets. Red Sox are going to Mexico. That's why we were wondering why the Red Sox did not have a game today, because we're like, that's strange. Like, the season doesn't start. So who are they playing? That would be why. So I'll have to do that. Okay, so you played through JV, Jonathan. Awesome. Then you moved to tennis because you didn't like the varsity club. I know that stinks. It stinks when you have to give up on stuff because of that. Yeah, so they're right by me because I'm down in the Fort Myers area. So Twins and Red Sox, there are 2 kind of closest spring training teams. I got to go to a Twins game a couple weeks ago with my kids. So we went to Twins versus Rays. Ironically, it was the same day that the Mets were in town playing the Red Sox, but we got free tickets to the Twins game. So I like the Mets, but I like free tickets more. 3-2 pitch and get some swinging here. So Davinsky is looking to close out this game. We're going to end the stream here in just a couple of minutes. So whether you're watching on horizontal or vertical, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. All right, so here's my tentative streaming schedule. I've got a couple of content things that are going to be coming out here shortly. But we got foul ball here. So tentatively, I'm going to stream the first inning or 2 of Thursday's opening day game for the Mets. But my son has a game that evening. So the Mets game starts at 4. My son's game starts at 5:45, and we have to leave here at 4:45. So we'll probably get the first inning in. Unfortunately, I just can't do more unless there's a rain out. So we've got that. And then I'm going to do some of my predictions for the season coming up. And then probably not streaming the Mets-Yankees game tomorrow as much as I would love to do it. I've got to get working and make some money because rent is due. So can't do that yet. And because I can't pay the bills with YouTube yet, I got to hold off on that. But that's the plan. And then we'll try to stream either Friday or Saturday's game. This ball is a fly out just in foul territory in left field. And that is going to do it. The Mets are going to pull off the victory 10-2. It was an absolutely dominating offensive performance. Griffin Canning was not absolutely at his sharpest, but kept the Marlins to 2 runs. Rock solid relief performance goes to Jose Urena. So you get the Pet Rock Award for the day, Jose. Kudos to him coming out and pitching, even finding out he was going to the minors to start the season. I have a feeling we very well could see him as the season goes on. There's one more game remaining in spring training for the Mets. That's Mets-Yankees tomorrow. And then the regular season will be back. So I'm super excited about the season being here. And, we'll try to cover one of Friday or Saturday's games in full, or Sundays. One of those this weekend we're going to be with you live. We're going to try to be live for as many Mets games as we possibly can. We just need your help by hitting the like, hitting the subscribe. And I think once regular season starts, that should also help bring more fans in. And we've gotten, I think, most of our technical glitches worked out this spring. which is super good as well. So with that being said, I appreciate all of you. If you care to follow, I do have a stream going on right now of Baylor versus Duke. If you care to follow along over there, you can certainly do that. I don't know if I'm going to leave that up the whole time. We'll kind of see if people are watching it or not. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And let's go Mets, baby.